Have you ever noticed how some people are always tired? Not just after a long day, but almost all the time. They wake up tired. They feel drained during the afternoon. And even when they try to relax, the exhaustion never really goes away. It feels like their energy is constantly low, like everything takes more effort than it should. Most people assume the reason is simple. They think the person just needs more sleep. But the truth is, constant tiredness is not always about the body. Very often, it's about the mind. Psychology shows that mental and emotional factors can drain energy just as much as physical activity, and sometimes even more. One of the biggest reasons people feel constantly tired is that their brain never truly rests. Even when the body is sitting still, the mind keeps working, thinking about the future, replaying conversations, analyzing past mistakes, imagining possible problems. The brain is constantly scanning, planning, worrying, and predicting. Over time, this endless stream of thinking becomes exhausting. Just like muscles become tired after physical exercise, the brain becomes tired after too much mental activity. And in the modern world, many people are mentally active almost every minute of the day. Another major cause of constant tiredness is overthinking. Overthinking quietly drains energy without people realizing it. Someone who overthinks often questions everything they do. They replay conversations in their head. They wonder if they said the wrong thing. They imagine how others might judge them. They worry about making the wrong decision. Each individual thought might seem small, but when these thoughts repeat hundreds of times every day, they slowly drain emotional energy. It's similar to running a computer with too many programs open at once. The system begins to slow down, and eventually everything feels harder to process. The human brain works in a very similar way. Another hidden reason people feel tired all the time is emotional exhaustion. Emotions require energy. Stress requires energy. Anxiety requires energy. And modern life places a lot of emotional pressure on people. Many people feel pressure to succeed, pressure to build a career quickly, pressure to prove themselves, pressure to keep up with others. Sometimes they even feel pressure to appear happy and successful even when they are struggling inside. Carrying these emotions every day slowly drains mental strength. This is why someone can feel exhausted even if they haven't done much physically. Their body may be resting, but their emotions are still working hard in the background. Social media has also added a new layer of mental fatigue. Every day, people scroll through endless images of success, perfect vacations, perfect relationships, perfect careers, perfect lifestyles. But what social media rarely shows is the struggle behind those moments, the doubts, the failures, the confusion. When the brain constantly compares itself to others, it creates a quiet form of stress. People begin to feel like they are falling behind, like everyone else is moving forward faster. Even if this comparison is not fully conscious, the mind still processes it. And over time, this comparison drains motivation and emotional energy. Another important psychological factor is decision fatigue. Every day, people make small decisions: what to wear, what to eat, what to say in a message, how to respond to someone, what to focus on, what direction their life should take. Each decision uses a small amount of mental energy. Individually, they don't seem like much, but together they slowly wear the brain down. When the brain faces too many choices, it becomes overwhelmed. And when the mind feels overwhelmed, it often responds with fatigue. Sometimes tiredness has nothing to do with how much someone is doing. Instead, it has to do with how meaningful their activities feel. When life becomes repetitive and routine, the brain begins to lose motivation. Wake up, work, scroll, sleep, repeat. Without purpose or meaning, even simple tasks can feel exhausting. The brain needs a sense of direction to stay energized. When people feel disconnected from what they are doing, their energy slowly fades. Another factor that often hides behind constant tiredness is anxiety. But anxiety does not always appear as panic attacks. Sometimes it appears as quiet worry, a constant feeling that something might go wrong, a background tension that never fully disappears. When the brain stays in this alert state for long periods of time, it uses large amounts of energy. It's like leaving a car engine running all day long. Eventually, the fuel runs out and the person begins to feel drained. Burnout is another major reason many people feel exhausted all the time. Burnout rarely happens suddenly. It builds slowly, a little pressure each day, a little stress each day, a little emotional exhaustion each day. Over weeks or months, this constant strain pushes the mind past its limit. At that point, even simple tasks can feel overwhelming. Many people experiencing burnout say the same thing. They feel tired even when they rest. They wake up without motivation, and things that once felt easy suddenly feel difficult. But there is something important to understand about tiredness. Sometimes it is not a problem. Sometimes it is a signal. The brain has its own way of protecting itself. When the mind becomes overloaded, it begins to reduce energy levels. This forces the person to slow down, to rest, to step away from constant pressure. In a strange way, tiredness can be the brain's way of asking for balance. Mental energy works differently from physical energy. Sleep helps the body recover, but the mind also needs a different kind of rest. Moments of quiet, time without constant stimulation, real conversations with people, time spent doing things that feel meaningful. When people start giving their mind this kind of rest, something interesting begins to happen. The constant tiredness slowly fades, their thoughts become clearer, their emotions feel lighter, and energy gradually returns. So if you often feel tired even when you haven't done much physically, the problem might not be your body. It might be your mind, your thoughts, your emotions, your expectations. Understanding this is the first step towards regaining your energy, because sometimes tiredness is not a weakness. It is simply the mind asking for balance. And once you begin listening to that message, things can slowly begin to change.